swing direction too far right. Face is quite good. It's in between the target and the path, so you're going to hit a draw.
Swing direction is in red?
No.
No, it's in white. Sorry.
No.
What? Where's your...
So swing direction isn't,
isn't
on there.
Okay.
So you got destination, then you got club path, which is the blue, and then you got the face.
Very, very clever the way they do it.
Okay. So.
But that's setup, right?
What is?
Swing direction. Or am I?
That's at impact. So at the point of impact.
No. If I change my setup, my swing direction.
It would do, but it's so because we're set up parallel left to the destination.
Yeah.
If your swing was calibrated to your body alignment, then that would be nearer to 0. So at the moment, your swing direction is slightly offset to the right, and then when you hit down on the ball, it increases it. So your club path is greater than your swing direction because you're hitting down, which is a good thing. But we're looking at the direction of the swing relative to your body alignment, and you've got a slight offset, which is okay.
Because I'm set up straight.
Yeah. So it means that you're slightly off. Okay, so halfway down, that's good, 50-50. You don't have any pressure on your left heel at this point. Then it moves into the heel. Okay. So 80% on the left side, so a little bit too much. But the trace pattern looks a little bit better. It's less squiggly. But a large proportion of this, are you going to...
It's good. And, yeah, we just won't pick up the 3 bends and then
Okay.
we'll be out your way.
Great. So halfway down... Yeah, because the problem is because you're not...
Because that's the heel, so it pushes me back here. All the time.
Well, everything happens from the feet.
Yeah.
So how you move your body is based upon what happens with the pressure you're putting on the floor. And yeah. And the thing is, bizarrely, our feet know what to do because they will react against what you're doing in your swing. So the swing the feet react to the swing. Okay. So you take a certain direction of swing, and the lower body then reacts accordingly to keep you standing upright. But we can flip that round so that the body has to react to your feet. So we can kind of learn the correct movement in the feet.
Yeah.
If we actually make the ground unstable, because suddenly the brain will go, uh-oh, I'm about to slip, so I've got to focus down here. So then what you'll do with your golf swing, will be a byproduct of your feet. So we're going to make the surface slippy.
Bought 2 of those, by the way. Not those, though. They're not very good. Reviews.
Unbelievable. Okay, so what I want you to do then...
I recognise this in the week. I need to get slippy.
You do. And by making the ground slippy, your swing won't be able to do the kind of stuff that it does because your brain will be reacting to the balance. So all I want you to do is some swings, but don't try and keep the discs anchored. Let your feet move. Okay. Okay. And again. Okay. Just swing and let your feet move. Okay. Now, your golf swing is much more influenced by the feet down there. So if you can kind of learn that trace pattern, because every golfer, every human who would pick up a golf club and swing would have the same twist, shear, kick back, slide, you name it. It will match.
It will match. It was exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even if they don't know how to push down on the, they would.
As soon as you swing the club back, your foot movement, my foot movement, his foot movement, her foot would be the same.
Because it's the feet react, the body reacts to the feet.
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah. And even that's quite closely associated with other sports as well. If you took ice hockey, for example, you know, are you recognizing your right foot's
Yeah.
slipping backwards? Well, if you look in slapstick or slap shot in ice hockey, they step forward, and as they rotate the upper body, the right foot kicks backwards. As our golf swing goes from behind us to in front of us, the right foot slips back. So therefore, we need to recognize that movement and try and replicate that movement, not consciously, but understanding that, okay, obviously now my feet on the floor, I have that ground reaction, so therefore I can't actually move my feet, but let's try and move them. And in an effort to move them in that direction, we're actually then influencing what's going to happen with the golf swing. Super. So if you take it back up again.
Sliders.
Okay, now, did you try and keep your feet still? I want you to let them move. I want you to let them go. Wherever they want to go, let them go. Don't think about it, just let it happen. Okay. Okay. So when you're then fixed to the floor, rooted to the floor, and let's say, for example, the feet turn on the backswing, if I consciously try and turn, I'll reach a point where the ground will restrict any more movement, so I'm therefore then creating torque. And what happens with that movement is that when I twist my feet and I can't now, the next segment tries to twist, i.e. my knees. Now my knees can't move. My kneecap's about to pop. So then the next movement comes from the hips. Then that can't move. Then that, and so on. So you then get this loading effect. So when people say, you know, how do I turn my pelvis? It actually comes from the knees and below that the feet. So it all works from, so we're actually trying to twist. I'm trying to twist, but then that creates torque. And then when I'm up, and I don't release that pressure, I don't then relax, I try and keep pushing that way. Great. Okay, so let's hit one now.
Just let it flow.
Yeah. Yeah. The ground is talking to you now. See. So. Yeah, see. I've been looking at loads of swings with this, and it's the same. Okay. So the left foot's turned in. Knees twisted in, hips going to be twisted in. Okay. The other foot's going back. Now, common sense would say, well, hang on a minute, if my foot's going back, that's going to push my hip back.
Yeah, I was going to say that
But
before.
the point being is that in order to turn my pelvis, I have to turn it against something. So essentially, I've got to be pushing back to be able to get my pelvis turning, because it's
It'll extend.
exactly, yeah. And you could show that, you could do that now. You see, this takes then care of early extension. You know, we know how much early extension is a problem.
46.6%.
You see? Look
I
at that.
looked latest today.
Look, really? Look at that.
As in,
Now, you take a ice hockey player. So in order for the next segment to move, the previous one to that has to stabilize. You're going to be so good at moonwalking, I can tell you that much.
so good at what?
You're going to be so good at moonwalking with these.
Yeah, I've just got the flat discs. Well, these are discs. Well, it's, yeah, same thing, is it? Just a different style.
So the pelvis is turning. Your right foot's going back. And look how much more stable that looks. And then, look at your swing direction now, 0.9. So because we've got some resistance, we're able to move the upper body better, because obviously coming down, there's a point where we can't turn the pelvis anymore. So then that stabilizes in the next movement, which is the upper body.
More over
So
the
it
top,
becomes, in your case,
Yeah.
it comes more, and we've not even, so from working with the ground or using the ground, the body's had to adapt. Whereas when your feet are planted,
more.
so it's learning that movement in the swing. So there's lots of shear, lots of rotation, lots of linear movement that's going on there. And then you can maximize power. Then everything can increase in speed.
And that was
I
going
mean,
around the arm.
Yeah,
But
I mean the strike is irrelevant, you know, at this stage, but
Yeah.
you can see just how much foot movement. Look what our feet are having to do in the golf swing, which is all hidden by the fact that we can keep the feet still. And when you watch the longest hitter, you know, the longest hitters, you know, their feet go everywhere, don't they? So, but it's trying to train that movement whilst keeping them fixed, but not trying to keep them fixed, trying to make the ground obviously fix them. Such a simple. See that there, that looks amazing. Look at the side bend, position of your pelvis. Okay, so if you take it back to hip height, again, just letting the feet go where they want to go.
Take it back to hip height.
Yeah. Okay, now, if you step off them and try it again, but try and create that same movement in your feet. Now, what do you now feel when you did that? Torque? Did it feel?
Yeah, well, it's that. Yeah, torque twist.
Mhm.
Just sort of-
Did you feel it in the kneecap at all? Did you feel like you?
Yeah, I'm putting everything maxed. I'm just twisting it rather than going.
So you're going as far as you can with that foot will let you. So you're twisting into the outside of the skin of the shoe there. So you need that same foot movement, that same twist. That's better. Now suddenly, Gareth, your whole swing looks more loaded. Now, the next bit is, well, what was I doing coming down? My right foot was slipping backwards. So as you're coming down and you're getting onto this sort of joints of your feet halfway down, and then you go into impact, like we've discovered before. Do you remember when we were having that problem where you were popping out with the leg and you had this great big gap in between there, and we worked on trying to keep that knee tucked in? Okay, so that was more like the visual elements, but this is now obviously, this is now showing you the dynamic reason why. So coming down then,
So okay, it seems to be backwards seems the easy feel.
okay, see the amount that your feet have moved there. So we want so the the hips rotate fast, and also as well that the timing of it when it stops. The brain will know, okay, to get the next segment going, I need to stop the turn. As you just did, you stopped. You didn't choose to stop there. You just stopped there.
Impact stop. Yeah.
We actually stopped the feet before that point, because the brain recognized that the next segment was going to move, so therefore it had to support that. All the ground worked to stabilize the lower body to move the next segment.
Reaction forces.
Exactly. I mean, if we took this as an example of but this is where you can gain so much control in the swing, so much more consistency in the swing. Okay, so imagine that you're playing. Okay, I don't know whether you've ever done a slap shot. Have you ever done one?
Slap shot.
Yeah. So in ice hockey, when they hit the puck and. Okay.
Many ice rinks.
That's a shame. Okay, so what I want you to do, okay, is just from here. Don't think about the feet. Just go to an impact. Okay, and again. Now look what's happening to your foot. Try it again and try and move your foot forward. Can't do it. See? So you've got there equal and opposite forces. So if you're going into early extension, there's no way that this body can do what it's meant to do. So obviously then flips it completely on itself and go, well, maybe I can actually alter the swing through actually my feet, but I've got to understand my natural footwork.
Wait, ignition from feet.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a simpler way to kind of get this across, but I think visually you're seeing the whole.
Yeah.
Well,
if you were just telling me, or
Yeah.
telling someone, as soon as you put these on, you go, okay.
I mean, it violates everything
Well-
that we kind of logically think in golf. This is like, well, what? No golfer does that. No.
No, but
Not
half those
visually,
things.
but these fantastic golfers who hit the more miles that do it so naturally. And the interesting thing is, if you take like Jason Zuback, Canadian long driving hitter, what did he come from? He came from ice hockey.
Ice hockey or javelin or random. All done something before.
Yeah. So okay, right, yeah, try and push it forward. See, you can't do it. So we're changing the swing by making the floor.
So it started from my feet. Feet's the first move.
Yeah, but you can't do it slowly, because then by doing it slow,
I'm just
what's
seeing if I
happening?
still can do it
Oh,
there.
no, sorry. But it's like if you do it slow, you can then, to a certain extent, control the feet. Just gonna hit this one. Right foot went back. Definitely went back. Because I needed something for my pelvis and upper body to turn against. So therefore, okay, so now,
You say turn again, so that's your left. He's turning against your left side.
well, I'm pushing effectively this back to create resistance to be able to then turn the pelvis. But this is all done, you know, on the nervous system. It's so when you
So again, you say correct, sort of turn against, and I automatically think turning against your left hip, but that's if you're pushing back.
so to turn my pelvis, my foot has to the pressure to shift back. This is how I go left heel, right toe. So on the pressure plate, you'll see it here. If I go forward, there's no how can I put pressure on my heel? Impossible. I can't do it. Whereas if I go back with my foot, okay, I need to do it a bit quicker. Okay, there. The action of pushing back here helps me load into that glute. So suddenly now can you see how my pressure's in my left heel?
Yeah, I get that.
So
it helps you rotate there.
and there's a point where I won't be able to.
Position that you can turn and everything else.
Yeah, and there'll be a point where I can't go any further. So then that point where I then hit the brakes, then makes the next segment fly. But it's all about, you know. So in the golf swing, it's like, okay, my feet did this on the backswing, so I need to create that same sensation. Now I'm putting so much torque into the floor, because if I was to let the pressure go off the floor, my feet would fly down. So that's it. Now that's as far as I can turn. Now my knee. Well, that's as far as I can turn my knee, because in order to turn my knee more, I'd have to let that bit go. So then I turn this. That's as far as I can turn that now, because that's resisting. That's as far as I can. That's as far as I can go. But if you lose that pressure in the floor, but then it's the acceleration off the block.
So I have definitely been pushing off that way. Well, that's been my thought. Push.
Yes. 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 More. You've been going more lift, which is fine. Lift. Push would be this way. This is pull. So this is more, yeah. So you've been working, so we've been working on kind of getting halfway down, 50-50 on the kind of hinges of the feet. And then from there, lifting. But now, as we lift, it's almost without it being,
straight from the top.
it's like this.
So my initial move is okay, but then I'm carrying on the lift.
Absolutely.
Instead of
So you then go, and then what happens then is the club gets trapped behind you, and then, which is why, I mean, we're talking, 2 degrees, so, you know, we're not going, you know, it's not like it used to be. But off the back of this, you can then get suddenly more, well, yeah.
power,
Yeah.
consistency, efficiency. That's always right.
Yes.
I can't.
You try.
Can't cheat.
Good luck.
You can't cheat.
Try.
I'm just thinking when you were saying go on to from the top. Door. It's like you said, sort of go on to your ball first, and then you do the shimmy.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you time that? You have to learn it from this.
Hmm.
But,
I mean-
this just feels like all back.
Yeah. You can't go forward. You've
Yeah.
just proven
I know,
that.
But that's a forward. When you got the ball, so you got the ball first. That's kind of a forward.
That's yeah. So we'll call this forward, this back.
Yeah.
See? Every single time. You can't change that. So this is talking to us. This is now, I mean, yeah, swing directions are so much straighter. Look at that. 0. You know, at the beginning we were 2, 0, 0, good. Then we had a bit of a 10 because that was me. Then we had a 6. But that explains, you know, it clearly why the big hitters are so long, because their feet go everywhere. They have to.
Why? Well, they let them go everywhere.
Well,
How
they-
do they keep their balance? I suppose. Well, that's why they've got consistency, isn't it? 'Cause
They, I mean, they are just raw power, so they're getting everything involved without the feet restricting their movement. So they're literally just suspended in space, moving like on one of those
so
spinning
they take off
discs.
like a rocket, feet first. They do that, but then they're lifting off the ground.
Absolutely, they're creating so much torque. They're just like, they're just.
Ground reaction force
Yeah.
first.
So so this is taking ground reaction force out of it. So let me turn this way. So backswing, downswing. I'm going this way. So this is the way my feet. So so then it's like, okay, well now I can't move my feet, but I still want my feet to try and move in that direction. Suddenly then it's like, oh my God, I suddenly feel so manly.
That's why I walked in here thinking it's not right. Not getting it.
No.
Order some balance plates. Knew there was something up with them. I need to
Yeah.
feel it without the ground. I saw it slightly in a different way, but I just need to get my muscles to understand.
When you do it in the same way that the feet are. I did. When the feet move in the same way that we were doing it on the gliders, suddenly it's like you can actually start to feel, well, I can move. This is just almost a ripple effect of movements. If I push down, twist, and then shift, it's like I can do things now. That's it now. So now try and. But again, that's because your old early extension made you go. But look at that 0.3 swing direction again.
So what was my top half doing to what I used to do?
Yeah, when you had early, when your feet,
So
when this went
a couple
that
of weeks
way.
ago and you ignored me.
So when you go this way, you go that way. It's like, well, my body, this has to go. If this goes forward, this is going to lift. So that's why this is now keeping you into a better side bend as well.
Like I say, it's just the feel, so what I'm doing is all okay. So it's just what I'm feeling.
It's right.
Yeah, the top half is right, because that is right.
Your body is now adapting to the ground,
Yes.
as opposed to the ground. Great. Wow. 0.6.
No, it's like,
So now,
really suck that into your head. It's like it is right.
yeah,
Like that time, I was just like, I can go for it because I know it's right.
exactly. You just, yeah.
That's my
So, one more time,
yeah.
but remember you're trying to observe it. What's happening? Now, try and copy that movement now. Try and copy bits of it. What was the change in that feeling then? What about the joints and the muscles and in the leg? Was it more?
It was, yeah, more. It was
Did you feel more?
Body just followed.
Great, great.
I feel like I'm pushing down though, doing the old twist.
Well, it's okay. So, but what are you? Yeah. So suddenly the path. I mean, forgetting the red. Let's get rid of that because that's kind of irrelevant. Yeah. So coming down, what do you feel in the downswing? Obviously, are you feeling something of that?
Yes, that's all I think about is ice hockey on the downswing. Is just think twist as far as you can with your ankle, knees, and everything, and then keep them there.
Can you feel how much more velocity you can create? Okay.
Just feel like a twist.
Okay. But when you're twisting, are you feeling? Well. 0.4. You gotta love the strike, haven't you?
What?
You gotta love the strike. That's so much straighter.
Play that one because that was definitely.
So if you want to eliminate early extension,
Show me the last one.
this is it.
That's the on the discs. Yeah, I can see the disc.
That'd be amazing footwork.
Yeah.
It didn't pick it up.
So that's me doing it, but obviously not putting enough pressure on the ground because I let my hip.
1.4 left. Amazing how much the feet should move. Show me a long hitter. Show me any golfer who doesn't do that. I'd love to see it.
This is like it's like just muck around because I do the same every time.
You can't do wrong.
You can't do anything else.
Nope. Nope. I mean, you know, look how consistent your swing directions are. Minus 1.8, minus 1.9, 0.9 minus. You know, they're all because you're not going that way. And you're not going that way because you're doing
What was my first one? Minus 2.
plus 2.4. Yeah. Yeah. Plus 2.4.
Just afterwards, it's like.
It's amazing, isn't it?
How's that fly like that? It does. It's like, yeah, I mean, it feels more consistent before. Well, I tried before, I was doing more variations of.
Yes.
I knew it wasn't consistent.
Yes.
I knew there was a reason why I thought, well, I'd get
Yeah.
control more muscles, but I didn't see it happen.
The first reaction
way
when
you're
people
talking.
stand on it is, well, that's wrong. When they hit a ball, that can't be right. It's like, well,
Well, I would have.
the laws.
I would have taken a while to believe you.
Yeah.
A year ago, well, I've done the biomechanics course and I've done all these things where